What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back here with another video. And today we're continuing this 7-round mock series with the New York Giants. Did the Eagles, slipped up a little bit with the Texans while continuing the division, but we're back in it. Of course, this is a team where we have a couple first-round picks, so this should be fun. Of course, if you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that jazz. I will be doing another one of these, especially as the season closes out and we start knowing teams' actual draft orders. So if you guys are excited for that, of course, stick along. Of course, look down in the description for all of those links and stuff because we got good deals and we also have good places for you to go and join the community. Glad you're here. Let's kick into this. Let's have a little bit of fun. Of course, I'm going to be leaving this right up here, the New York Giants player contracts, in case we ever want to reference it. But I actually have some interesting ideas for what I'd want to pick. Oh, Jaquan Brisk, do not tell me Jaquan Brisker just went. Son of a biscuit. He did. Just a heads up, y'all. We are not going to be doing trades. If you guys are new here, we don't do trades because if I do this mock draft over again, we are not going to get the same trade offers. Just seems a little bit, it also adds some complexity to it. That's not very fun. There are two things that we need to address or three things. We need to address two things on the offensive line: tackle, guard, or center. It's technically three. But we also need to address a defensive end position. I think that might be the best option with DeMarvin Leal on the board. But I had this idea in my mind about freaking Tyler Linderbaum, and I want to talk about it because he is in my top 5. He is above DeMarvin Leal. I'm still going to take DeMarvin Leal. However, I think that it's very good to talk about Tyler Linderbaum in this situation because this guy, I was like, okay, well, he's around 290 pounds. That's nowhere near where I think that a Gettleman offensive lineman would be. I was wrong. I mean, you look at Will Hernandez, he's 304 pounds. You look at Shane Lemieux, I think he's 310 pounds. And Nick Gates, I think he's like 308 pounds, something around there. They're all relatively smaller. They're not these large monstrosities like I thought. So getting a guy like Tyler Linderbaum, if he puts on 5, maybe 10 pounds, definitely not out of the question. So when we do this again and in the larger mock series, because I know that Jaquan Brisker's not going at 6, we could definitely be looking into that. And I want your guys' opinion down in the description below because I already know where I'm going to be going with these picks. Just because, I know that Darian Kinnard's going to be by the next pick. And that's going to be my selection all the way because he's going to be a right tackle for us, as well as a right guard in the short term if you really want to keep like Nate Solder. I don't think you do. But obviously, this is going to be an edge. It says interior defensive line. It's bullshit. He's played edge every single snap pretty much. He's not as good on the interior. However, if you want to use him on the interior, he could be that BJ Hill role that we've lost. I think it's the best move value-wise, getting some extra pass rush there. Leonard Williams only here for 2 more years after this one. So 2024 contract coming up. That is going to be a pretty big factor coming up in the future because he got a big-ass contract. So he's a big part of the team, which means we need to start surrounding him with youth. Otherwise, we can't continue paying dudes on the defensive side if we want to be a winner. Let's get DeMarvin Leal. It looks like we're getting interior defensive line. Again, BS. Also, you know, a 1 and a 7 for moving up. I would probably allow that if I were selecting. Regardless, we're here right now. And you guys know, of course, we're not trading back because that's the whole entire point against this. However, I would probably trade back in the real draft. Again, I really want to go Tyler Linderbaum here, but we need to prioritize actually getting an offensive tackle. I think that's the best choice. If we want to get Zion Johnson in the next round to be an official guard, cool. But Darian Kinnard is an absolute animosity, or he's an absolute monster. There we go. We'll just leave it right there. No need to get fancy at the right tackle position for Kentucky. He is an amazing run blocker, and he has gone leaps and bounds as a pass protector. Ikem Ekwonu is a much better tackle right now. However, he is a left tackle. You don't tell left tackles in the draft that you're being drafted as a right tackle. That's just pure disrespect. Darian Kinnard, worst case scenario, will be of the upper echelon at the offensive guard spot, which is perfectly what you're looking for. Let's get the best value positions on the board. I love drafting Kinnard as well as Leal too, guys. I usually do, but we might see a little bit of a change up this mock draft. Regardless, I think that the value is right there. You know, I love my boy Tyler Linderbaum, and who knows, he might fall to us in this draft. Again, size sometimes matters to teams. And of course, TDN fashion, Tyler Linderbaum goes to the Bills. I can't stand it. Like, I absolutely hate the fact that Tyler Linderbaum has a scarlet letter on his back to just go straight to the Bills. It's so stupid. But regardless, we still need to go on and talk about the Giants. We, of course, are going to be spammed with bullshit trade options, and we're not going to take any of them. But I have to be very careful because TDN doesn't know how to build their mock draft simulator properly, and it's very fidgety. Still, we are here at 39, and I would look at Zion Johnson. Don't think that's the right move. I want to look at the linebackers here because I think that's the right option. Linebacker, tight end, those are two huge ones for me. We got offensive line down pretty well. I think maybe going after some interior offensive linemen later on. There is a kid from, I think, Arizona State who I like. Yeah, Donovan West. He is pretty damn good. Guy who we could definitely target in the later rounds. That guy probably would be the best option for us in the long run. I think a linebacker might be the best choice. You know, we look at the linebackers, interior linebackers are pretty thin right now. Besides Martinez, like we're pretty thin right there. Henry To'oTo'o is never going to be that. Marvin O'Shone. We're down to Christian Harris, who's 232, and Brandon Smith, who's around the 241. I think Brandon Smith at his size and weight is a much better fit on the Giants. And I think that's the right route. The tight ends will fall. If this were my draft, I'd be a little bit worried about how the tight ends are going to fall on this, because I do like drafting a lot in the second, just because I see a very big cluster, but nothing after. There's a big cluster of guys, and then there's just a big drop off. But still, we got Brandon Smith there, 4.38 40 at 241 pounds. That is ridiculous. If you're able to continue refining his game, this dude could be a top end prospect. I would not be surprised to hear his name called day one, although I wouldn't want that to happen. So just continuing on, of course, we're getting spammed by awful trade offers, and it's just terrible. We very well might have just jinxed the entire draft right there, which is annoying, but I'm praying that it did not totally screw over the entire draft. Daniel Failele going to the Ravens. I like that pick actually quite a lot because, I mean, they don't need a right tackle, but I do love the size. And we did not get screwed over by the sim. Number 67, dude. Oh, man. There are two guys who I really, really want here. And the fact is, I know that Zion Johnson's going to go before all the tight ends that I like. So I think that I feel a little bit more comfortable taking the chance on losing two tight ends than losing one interior offensive lineman. We are going to be going Zion Johnson, a really good blocker in space. He also fits what we look at for size and weight. So Zion Johnson, I think that's a really, really good option. We did lose out on one of the tight ends. However, the tight end I wanted is still here. Jeremy Ruckert out of the Ohio State University. You know, he is going to be that much more upgraded Kyle Rudolph realm. He's not going to be your receiver type, because I feel like you're trying to get a little bit away from that ever since the Evan Ingram project kind of failed. So it's a good pick. I like that fit. So we got some really damn good picks right now. This is turning out to be a very good draft in my eyes for you guys. Of course, I've never drafted past the third round for you. So this is where things will get definitely interesting. Obviously, if we can get Zion Tuapoloa Fatui, I would 100% love to just take that. Of course, he goes to the Rams, which would be my least favorite destination for him, solely because he is that good that I don't want him to be an unbelievable freak of nature under Aaron Donald. I'm tired of seeing teams become like super teams. Still, we're here at pick 114. That was weird. We're going to ignore it. This could be I think a running back is a good option here. But I got to see who's available. Breece Hall is available. We're taking him for you guys. He is a 3-down running back. I just don't think, like, you have Gary Brightwell is the only guy who's pretty much on contract after 2023. And we all know it hurts to say, but the project with Saquon Barkley has also failed. It's injuries. Again, it's another reason why I just posted a video. Actually, it's being put up right now about the most recent Dre Harris 3.0 mock draft on TDN. And he drafted Karlaftis, two guys. And it's like, dude, I just, like, for a team that has dealt with injuries to its superstars the way that New York has, I don't think they're going to be that enticed to go testing fate once again with a guy who's had a really shit injury history. Just saying, you guys can push back. Regardless, we are here at 150. And we could look at honestly another tackle. I don't think that's something that naturally happens, is you don't just overload on one position. I could look at some extra outside linebackers like Owen Papo here. I feel like I've already gotten him a couple of times in these drafts though, so going to be a little bit more getting away from that. Dude, damn. Kellen Dye, or not Kellen Dye, what's his name? Greg Dulcich is still on the board. He's such a good tight end. Obviously not going to be getting him. If we were understanding that Spencer Rattler would come out, this could be a fun location for him, but we're not going to even get close to that. Don't know why they say you need a wide receiver. Literally, all your guys are on contract too for at least the next year. It really doesn't make sense. It shows that TDN doesn't really know what they're talking about. But I'm actually going to go with a guy who could be another edge player here. Really good impact guy out of Ohio State, Tyree Smith. Does not get the respect that he deserves. Honestly, he makes very big plays in big moments. So being able to get him here in the 5th round seems like a very good option. Obviously, we already did get an edge rusher, but again, it allows you to be more flexible with what you want from your first round pick. Also, it's a 5th round pick. You should definitely have some extra depth. Still, at 160, the Giants are back on the board, and I think safety could be a fun one. I'm just trying to see a guy who'd be worth it. You know, I do like Colby Harvey-Peel. Definitely, probably not this realm, but Bubba Bolden. We have, what's his name? Jabril Peppers coming up on a contract this year. So we do have Xavier McKinney behind him, who I like a lot. Happy that he's there, but that's something to think about. I would definitely still look in this linebacker realm for a guy like, even because I'm going to ditch Owen Papo for the time being. I have him as like a 2nd to 3rd round dude. Zacoby McClain. I don't know how much of a different type of role he's going to have than Azeez Ojulari. That's all I got to say about that, because Azeez and him are pretty similar. I think Zacoby McClain is very similar to that Nakobe Dean style of player, where very, very good in the blitz. You know, he has extremely good athleticism. There is a kid. I just want to see if he's actually in here. I don't think he is, but there's a kid on Miami, and I think his name is something Bright, Cam Bright, and he is a freak. He just lit it up this last week. Big shout out to him. I think that the athleticism of Zacoby McClain is going to be worth it. So you take it, be able to use him as a gadget player. We're getting some good balance on offense and defense here. Obviously, we can take like a wide receiver or something as time goes on. Like, that's not something I'm against. It's just, it's hard for me to do that when we have so many guys on contract for more than just a year. So running back wise, I can see us getting another running back here, like getting an actual RB1-2. Because here, I'll bring you guys into the realm here. Running back wise, we look at it. You got Saquon until 2023, as well as Devontae Booker. Like, okay, you got 2 dudes for 1 year after this. Like, at this point, we're at the draft. You have guys for 1 more year. You probably want to start looking for replacements, because Saquon, it's just the injuries are just not worth it. And Devontae Booker is a journeyman who's very solid in his own right, but he's not an RB1, RB2. He's probably a really good RB3. I could look at another quarterback at this spot, and I think there are some really good ones. I love how you guys have AlexCBarbour Smith, by the way. Big fan of him. But still, at 186, I would definitely still look at more of a receiving back, like a James Cook, a Nia Smith. He'd be fun. But this could be a good spot to test out a quarterback. And I think that we are going to. Brock Purdy out of Iowa State. You know, he gets a lot of really bad press, and he is not great, right? Like, he didn't show anything to make me want to draft him in the first like he was supposed to last year. But he still does. He still has moments where he has very high IQ. He's able to drive the ball downfield. He's able to work with a team that has a very poor offensive line. So I think that's worth taking in the 6th round. I mean, I know Saints fans, if there's any Saints fans watching this, I know the keg's in here, but if you guys get mad at this, I really don't care. But if you're going to draft a kid named Ian Book in the 4th round, I'm pretty sure I can feel a lot happier and a lot more comfortable with a guy like Brock Purdy in the 6th. Finally, with the 7th round, we are here. Let's see who the best player available is. Xavier Thomas still on the board. I'm going to lean away from that because I like drafting him a lot. However, I think going after maybe a more young prospect wouldn't be too terrible of a decision. And that is going to be Joey Porter Jr., corner out of Penn State. His arms are ridiculous. We don't need corners, but you can transition him to safety. We did similar things before. It's just, dude, his arm, he has Kevin Durant arms. So if you're able to get this guy to actually work, there's a lot of potential right there. So big fan of that. Let's see. I don't think we have another pick, but even if we do, we just pick somebody who is a really good value. I mean, James Cook's falling out of this. I have him as a second rounder, like a late second. I think James Cook is a phenomenal running backs, but still, that is going to be the draft, guys. We fix our defensive line issues. We fix our offensive line issues as well. We got 2 steals on the offensive line, and then we got a great tight end for the future. We got our true running back 1 of the future too. I think Breece Hall is worth a first, maybe second round pick. And then I think that, we got some really good players who have potential to make big impact. So let me know what you guys think. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.